My spouse is a long-time birder. She has looked at birds her whole life. She has studied their calls. She travels occasionally to see a bird. And she has made it her goal in retirement to turn me into a bird nerd too. Rebecca has worked in the environmental protection field for most of her life, and birding seems to be a way to enter into the life of nature, where the cares of policy arguments and rules and testifying and frustrations fall away. For a time, she is caught up in nature, framed in a circular field, peering into the winged life of winged creatures. She might be standing beside a wastewater treatment tank that stinks to high heaven, and she's still in ecstasy because she caught a glimpse of a clapper rail, which is a very hard bird to spot because they are so shy. In fact, when Daniel asked me to consider joining the ministerial team, my very measured and practical spouse, who always goes through every pro and con of any decision, shouted, "Let's do it. They've got great birds there." 2 weeks ago, we traveled to Harlingen, Texas, to participate in one of the premier bird festivals in the United States. All kinds of birders gathered to visit Padre Island or to chase the hundreds, if not thousands, of red lord and yellow-headed parrots that descend on a modest city street every evening at dusk. Although she's not put it this way, I think birding is a way in which Rebecca catches a glimpse of the holy. One afternoon, we decided to hit the Hugh Ramsey Nature Trail. We walked along the paths, spotting warblers, trying to get a good look at a green jay, and basking in the beauty of a brilliant Altamira oriole. Boy Scouts had erected bird blinds throughout the park, and we were grateful for all their care and their ingenious designs. The park was okay. It kind of smelled bad, but we didn't care. We were on the hunt for the holy. And then we came upon a small pond that was absolutely covered in green algae bloom, a lake-killing growth. Rebecca has worked on water health and water ecosystems her whole life, and she shook her head in despair at how common this water quality problem has become all over the United States. Then we spied 4 turtles clinging to a log, all of them absolutely caked in this green goo. You could barely distinguish them from the algae-covered log. Their bodies looked like lifeless green statues, but through the muck, you could still witness life, longing for life and light. And we were just overwhelmed with sorrow looking at these 4 little turtles. "My heart hurts," Rebecca said. "My heart actually hurts when I see this. What are we doing? What are we doing to this earth?" We walked on along a gray river with plastic water bottles washed up on either side, then a bank of earth that had obviously been mowed over by heavy equipment. And as we walked further, we noticed all kinds of broken bits of glass embedded in the path, the corner of a beer bottle, shards of green and red and blue glass sticking up through the wood mulch. "What kind of park is this?" we said to one another. As we arrived back at the parking lot, we ran across a couple of birders and a man who was about to take to the trail. As the six of us talked, the man shared that he was an architect from Nebraska working on a nearby visitor center that he was designing for environmental education and ecotourism. And then he said, 4 years ago, this place used to be a dump, a municipal dump 4 years ago. The owner sold it to the city, and the city planners and neighbors and the Boy Scouts have been working on bringing it back to life ever since. All of a sudden, that park looked very different to us. In 4 years, that patch of earth had remade itself into a place where birds were thriving, plants and trees were finding their rooting, and even turtles were managing to stay alive in the muck and the mud of our refuse. All of a sudden, our hearts were surprised by gratitude. Gratitude for Boy Scouts, gratitude for birds, gratitude for the owner of the municipal dump, gratitude for the little city that has taken on this big reclamation project, gratitude for little turtles who were living examples of resilience, gratitude for this earth that again and again says to us all, I am for everybody. Every living thing, every life. Give thanks. Today we have been telling stories of gratitude wrapped up in loss, in change, in reclamation and resilience. And as we move into the season of praise and thanksgiving, may we all be open to the surprise of gratitude and where it can lead. May our assumptions that nothing can change and heartbreak, our only recourse, be turned upside down, and our hearts open to possibilities and promise, even in the throes of sorrow and disappointment. Take home these stories and experiment with gratitude in your own life. Gratitude for your brother who you've never gotten along with. Gratitude for your surly kid. Gratitude for your mother who complains all the time that you never call her enough. Gratitude for you reuniting with family members you haven't seen in 2 years. Gratitude even for the solitude you are not looking forward to this coming week. Praise what comes, the poet says. Open your heart in gratitude for all you haven't deserved of days and solitude. Your body's immoderate good health that lets you work in many kinds of weather. Praise talk with just about anyone and quiet intervals. Praising these for practice. Make a point of holding gratitude in all kinds of circumstance. Perhaps you will come at last to find gratitude even in grief, to find gratitude even in the wrongs you never intended. At the end, there may be no answers and only a few very simple questions. Jean Lohman writes, did I love? Did I finish my task in the world? Did I learn at least one of the many names of God? At the intersections of boundaries where one life began and another ended, the jumping off places between fear and possibility, at the ragged edges of pain, did I catch even the smallest glimpse of the holy? My friends, this life, this world is for everybody. Give thanks and praise what comes.